No problem. Take your time. The more relief I have, the better it is.
Switch fans. Switch fans. Sorry about that. I'm ready now. Daniel, we always ask you about the team news, but I think Crescencio Somerville's injury or problem that he's had with his shoulder was of interest to us the other day. How have you had to manage this, and is he okay for tomorrow?
No, it's not a big problem. He's struggling with this since a few weeks. Shoulder injury, so before each every training session, each every game, he has to strap it. It's improving like normal. A shoulder injury, it always lasts a while till you don't feel the pain anymore. But he's ready for the training sessions, also ready for the game. So not a big problem. It was also not the only reason why he was not in the starting lineup in the last game. Spoke before. He has missed big parts of preseason. Also, we have to keep in mind that, especially in the recent season, he was not so much involved, not a regular starter. He has also a bit of an injury CV. Then he had also during this season already one muscle injury. Then in addition to that, also struggling with the shoulder in the last game. He was in the last minute there with cramps at Norwich. That was the reason all together that he was not in the starting lineup. That he's actually at the moment in an outstanding form and was there with a brilliant performance. We don't have to talk about this. Also how much I like him and rate him, and I spoke about my appreciation for him after the last game when he was in the starting lineup in Norwich about this. But we also have to keep in mind we need him during the whole season, and we can't risk him to be out for a long-term injury because we're doing something stupid. Once player have a bit difficult period due to some injuries or missing parts of preseason, then we have to be careful. I'm quite sure that in a few weeks he will be also ready to play 3 games within 7 days. But right now, after his bit difficult start in this terms to the season, we just have to be careful. But I don't think he's out for tomorrow.
So do you think you literally the same 20 players then as you had in midweek, or anybody else new coming into it for you?
Yes, we'll see. So there are always a few knocks and hits after a game, and once you have such a quick turnaround, you have to make some late decisions. But at least no major injuries. What I can confirm. So I think that more or less all the players are available. Yes.
Has Luke Ayling told you about his brilliant goal last time the two sides met?
I saw it the other day.
Did he make you watch it?
No, out of coincidence, why ever? Even when he scored the last time, the stunner, I watched it. Yes.
That was the last time the two sides met. These games have traditionally had a lot of goals in them, or always have goals in them as well. It's a derby, obviously. Daniel, you've been in derbies before. Yes. You feeling a bit of extra spice ahead of this one?
Yes, I think if you don't feel this extra motivation in local derby, then we have a problem. So definitely, it's an important game for the club, for the fan base. Obviously, it's just 3 points, so it has the same value for the table like all the other games. But yes, you want to have this special atmosphere and a bit rivalry, and I think it's quite important that in these games you are even a bit more motivated, and both sides want to be successful. Especially, I also think that Huddersfield, after perhaps also a bit difficult last game, they have the chance to turn the whole mood around. So I think they will come also highly motivated. But so are we. So it's important to go really. In full motivation the last year into such a derby, because we want to be successful. Yes.
Dan, it's clear that you've bought into the club and the area since you've been here, but for a game like this, do you sort of ask people like Sam Byram, who's been here before and played in these games, or Ayling or Cooper, about what they're like in particular?
No, not too much, because everyone in the club tells me anyway how important this game is, and also the staff members, and obviously I also listen when the players sometimes talk about it. But it's not necessary anyhow. So I'm also experienced enough to know what it means to be there in a local derby, and I'm fully aware that it's an important game for us. Yes.
One of the big talking points in midweek, obviously, was Patrick Bamford missing, and you said you'd speak to him. How have you sort of dealt with him, and have you had to lift his confidence ahead of this game after that miss?
Well, it's not a big topic. Yeah, we had a short chat about the situation, but that's it. So Patrick is an experienced player. He doesn't need my backing in this terms. Was definitely a bit difficult situation due to the circumstances, and obviously also like a decisive moment in the game. But that's football. Yeah, if we use a penalty, it would be a completely different story. Then Patrick is a big hero, and we are there with a brilliant away win. Everyone speaks about great game management, difficult first half, but then we exhausted them. The substitutes changed the game and won the game. Perfect. Everything is right. Yes, if you then miss the penalty and they use the rhythm in order to score out of this, also a bit unlucky for us because it was more or less like a half own goal or something like this. It's then obviously also like drying and disappointing, but that's football. We have the chance in the next game to show reaction and also to win the points. That's what we want to do.
I know players are different, managers are different, but what's your style then? Is it sometimes just to not talk about something, or would you always broach something like that where a player's going through a bit of pain at the moment?
No, it differs. So you have to listen to your experience and also to your gut feeling how you handle this situation. Again, so Patrick is experienced enough, and we don't have to go too much into details in these terms. It was difficult. If you want to have the full story, I'm a big believer that the coach decides to take the penalties, because what I hate most is that when there are discussions on the pitch or it's not clear who takes the penalty. That's the reason why we always decide before the game who takes the penalty. And for this game, Joël Piroe was our main taker, and then you have also one or two options, because it could always be that the player doesn't have a great day, or sometimes when he's fouled he doesn't feel comfortable to take the penalty, something like this. So you have then a second and a third choice. And you have it on the list, but you can't name all 11 players on the list, because then you don't have to do it at all. So you always have a main taker and then perhaps one or two other options. For this game, Joël Piroe was our main taker, and the problem is also like another one on the list was, for example, Jadon Anthony, because he's also great and has a good record in taking penalties, but he was also substituted. And the only player, I don't believe also too much into players who come into the game that they overtake a penalty, because I think it's always beneficial when you have played at least a few minutes and you get used. So I would, for example, never substitute a player just 10 seconds before the end of the added injury or extra time, just for the penalty shootout, because I don't believe in this. I think players have to be involved in the game. So that's why I'm always struggling to name players who are substitute in to overtake a penalty. But in this terms, it was difficult, because the only offensive player who was still on the pitch was Jorginho Rutter. Yeah, he missed sadly the other night, also in the cup game, a penalty not in the best way. And we just had the back four and the two holding midfielders on the pitch who were there. And I don't tell you a secret, but the only one who was still on my sheet to overtake a penalty was a centre back, who has never taken a penalty in a competitive game. And for that in this moment, then Patrick, he has already scored a few penalties, said, no, I don't hide behind the fact that I missed also the last two. I want to take the responsibility and don't let a guy who also doesn't feel comfortable to overtake the situation in such a crucial moment to take this. No, I show responsibility. I'm an experienced player. I want to take this penalty. I can't blame him. So it's more a sign of no, he doesn't want to hide. He takes the pressure. Yes, obviously he then missed it, and it's then also like, yes, instead of being the hero, then he has to deal with lots of criticism. But if you overtake responsibility, that's what you have to do. And for that, it's also quite normal. Yeah, it's football. Yeah, sometimes you miss a penalty. I told this on my first day when I started. So it's everyone has a fresh start, and the pass is not important. Everyone has a chance to impress. So Patrick had the chance also to make his last couple of misses anyhow forgotten with being there, overtaking the penalty. Sadly, he missed a chance. Yeah, next time a different player will have to overtake the responsibility. It's as simple as that. We can't change it for this game. So sadly, it was a decisive moment, but it's football, and for that we win together, we lose together, and it's not like to point with a finger to someone. I was happy that he was not hiding, that he wanted to overtake responsibility, and there was not a natural penalty taker on the pitch anymore, and for that I can't blame Patrick. We also spoke about the situation that yes, we will be a bit careful with a substituted player or a player who is substitute in, who overtakes penalties. It won't happen again, or I decide he has to do this. But that was a bit tricky situation for that. Yes, explained a bit lengthy why it was like this, because I also want you to know the background a little bit why he overtook this penalty. But it's not a topic anymore. Hopefully we convert and use the next one.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
Daniel, I know I asked you about the league table the other day, but obviously the other night, another win for Ipswich, the gap's now 9 points to second. How much of a concern is that at this stage of the season, or do you not really see it as a concern with so many games left in terms of, this going right down to the wire?
Not at all. So difference to Ipswich or whatever is not important for me. So the table is for me just important after 40 games. I also don't like that we always have to be concerned about something. So if someone would have offered position 3 after a really difficult summer break in the end of August, that we would be in position 3 in the top 6 with a proper point tally, I think many people would have said, "Oh, that would be great if we are in this position." So I'm not concerned. We were there on a brilliant run. It's a championship. Sometimes there's a little setback, but you don't have to take too much attention on point differences. Not that the point gap that we have in advantage to other teams, but also not that other teams are ahead of us in the table. For us, it's just important that we deliver good performances, good results. I think we were not at our best, especially in the first half, in the last game, and this is our only topic. I want to use our possession better than we did at Stoke, but that's the only topic.
Just last one from me. Is there any sort of update on Stuart Dallas, Junior Firpo and Jed Spence, and in particular Jed Spence in terms of a time frame? I know you sort of talked about them the other day, but is there like a plan for those three in terms of time frames or going forward?
No, Junior is back in team training. Stuart at the moment is doing some individual training. Jed also in the last stages of his re-up. I hope both of them, Stuart and Jed, can return back to team training pretty soon. And then, yes, Jed was also out for about 8 weeks. It's not like the first day back in team training he's then available for the games. He also would need definitely a bit of training. But I hope that pretty soon, yes, in the next days, perhaps 10 days, 14 days, that he will return back to team training, but he hasn't joined us yet. Thank you.
Hey Daniel, Sam's been so solid at left back. We've forgotten to ask about his minutes and how he's coping. Do you think he'll be all right for tomorrow, given it's such a tight turnaround? Yes, Sam is always someone we have to be careful, also due to his injury record. And yes, last time he was able to play 3 games in 7 days, but each and every week is also different. So we'll make a late decision with him. He came through the game as all right. There were a few knocks. Anyhow, we will make a late decision with him. Charlie, Joe and Leo obviously aren't playing a huge amount because you've got such a good squad at the moment. We haven't seen them in the under-21s yet. Do you have any objection to playing in the 21s? Or is there a reason why you haven't kept them sharp in those games? Well, first of all, they were competitors also for us and the game day squad, and it's also important that you have competition in the training. For example, also Charlie has played a lot on international level. We didn't want to risk anything, and you have always to take some individual choices. For example, Matteo Joseph was involved because of the lack of game time after his injury. I think it was quite important. Joël has played a few games. Also, Charlie has played several games
international break, and for that we got the feeling in this moment it was not necessary that they have more minutes. It would be more beneficial to train with us on a really good training level. But yeah, we will decide more or less from game to game and also from training to training what we do.
How happy are you with Joe and Pascal at centre back at the moment? They seem to be forming a really strong partnership, and even when the team might be under pressure, for instance on Wednesday night, they're really solid as a partnership.
Yes, overall very happy. I was even more happy when we were there with clean sheet after clean sheet. I would love that if we could return to this behaviour, but I also have to say, so our defending overall in Stoke was quite good out of the game. We didn't allow them to have any chance. I think we conceded this, also a bit unlucky own goal, but you can't blame Pascal for this. It was just unbelievably unlucky. I think he was there only with 2 little own goals. Also the other day at Southampton, and he deflected the ball into the goal, but they're just unlucky overall, I have to say. So I'm pretty pleased with their performances. But in general, also like our defensive performance, I think why we are in a really good position in the table, in position 3 in the top 6, is also one key is that we are rock solid in terms of defending, because defending well is always a basement. We like to attack. We are offensive minded and possession minded team, but the basement will always be to be rock solid in terms of defending, and I think we are quite good. But even there's space for improvement, like in the table as well. Otherwise, would sit in position 1. So we could do even better, and could also do with another clean sheet. But I have to give compliments to Joe, to Patrick, but also Liam, for example, when he played. Also Charlie was involved in clean sheets. So overall, with my centre backs especially, I'm pretty pleased.
Afternoon, Daniel. We all know what the Championship is like, and that even a team in good form will suffer defeats every now and then. Obviously, the key is not to overreact. Do you have to sort of do more work to make sure that people don't overreact when you're at such a passionate club with so much noise around it?
Yes, that's quite normal. We have to be this club. It's important that after each and every win, our supporters want to dance on the table, and after each and every setback or loss, like we conceded the setback at Stoke. Yeah, and you need to have this feeling the world goes down. So I have the same feeling inside, but obviously I have to stay a bit more calmed and a bit more leveled. Don't dance around once we have a good run, like we had with several wins in a row. I'm also not overreacting once we have a little setback. I'm quite analytical and try to be analytical in this way. I think sometimes it's fine margins, because if you would have converted the penalty and scored the first goal, I tell you what, just one team would have won this game, and everyone would dance on the table and say, it was a difficult away game, and first half we digged in, but then the game management was brilliant. What a depth in the squad, so we could rotate. We brought players in from the bench, and they decided the game. Sadly, we didn't use the penalty, concede the goal, and then it's totally the other way around. That's normal for such a quite emotional club, but it's always important to stay calm. I think the last time when this club won the league in a perfect way, could be that I'm wrong, but I think there were 9 losses during the whole season. Last time I promoted with Norwich, I think I had 6 and 7 losses. So sometimes there is a setback. It's a championship, 46 games. So it's no team goes through a season without having a difficult spell, without having setbacks, without losing sometimes. So for that, this league is too competitive. It's, like I mentioned, not the best league. The best league is the Premier League, but the toughest league in the world. And if you don't have this mindset that you also keep going after setback and you don't lose your confidence, then you've got a problem. The most important topic is that after a setback you react in the right way, and you make sure that there are no back-to-back losses. And this is what we've done so far, and this is also why we're highly motivated to show reaction tomorrow and want to win the points.
And obviously you've got the most important job in terms of setting the mood in the dressing room, but how important are your experienced leaders in terms of just keeping that context and perspective when things are going well or badly?
Yes, I've spoken so much about this topic. Obviously, unbelievably important, because the time of a one-man show is over. You need a proper group who believes also and stick to your believings and brings your values and also the things that are important into the heads and also into the hearts and souls of the players. And for that, you need your leaders in the group. I praised already in the recent weeks a lot Liam Cooper, Luke Ayling, although they were not involved in each and every second on the pitch, but you need them to lead this group, and this is what they're doing in a brilliant way. We have also some younger players who grow into this role. We have still a relatively young group, especially the starting lineup is always very, very young. So for that, I'm also looking forward to have Stuart Dallas as more regular back at least in the dressing room and team training, because you also always need also experience, but even the younger players. So I like a lot their attitude, and we have a good energy within the group, and I also like that they are very self-critical and also yes, are greedy. I have to make sure that sometimes they don't overthink things too much and are still going into the games with euphorism. I think that's also quite important, but for that I'm really, really grateful and happy that I have so many great characters in the team, and also experienced players like especially Luke and Liam, for example.
And again, this might be overthinking on my part, but when you come to a new football club, how important is it that you get a feel of the area and the supporters and their mindset?
Yes, it's crucial, because we're playing football for supporters. I mentioned this the other day, so quite often we're speaking about transfers and business and money, and this is all quite important, because nowadays you have to lead a football club smart and also think about the financial aspect, and this is crucial in order to be successful. But the most important value and the most priceless value are our supporters, and this game is played for our supporters. So football is a supporters game, and if we forgot about this value and just think about other things like business aspects anyhow, then we don't get the meaning of football. So I think it's important. I mentioned several times, it's not a phrase, it's really my believing. So the club with our supporters, they are more important than any player, any manager, any board member, whatever. It's a supporters club, and also the supporters are the most important value for us as a club, but in general also in football. And it's important that you still keep in mind while you're playing this game that you play this game for the supporters. And in this sense, I think this game should be played.
Just following on from that, Daniel, do you manage to get out and meet a lot of the supporters? I mean, obviously you're sort of settled in the area now. Do you bump into people in supermarkets, you know, when you're shopping or whatever, out in the streets? Do you get a feel for the club from talking to people that way? Just sort of...
Yes, I'm not living on the moon, so obviously, also a human being and do normal things. I have to eat and have to go to the supermarket and whatever. And yes, obviously, so we have many occasions from the club, with the games, with training sessions, when we meet people who are there with their heart and soul, Leeds United supporters, but also in the city you could literally feel their joy once we are successful, and when we have a successful spell. And also, yes, you feel the pain and how much it hurts when we are there with a setback. It's always yes, sometimes you have to go to the gas station, so it's quite important. I think it's important that we don't live like in a spaceship anyhow, because we're all human beings and we're not different. It's just that we are working in a privileged role, and it's great to be allowed to work for such a club in such a privileged role, but it comes also along with responsibility, and yes, we want to make our supporters happy.
Now, Joël Piroe, I saw an interview with him in the week where he said he's been watching people like Haaland and Alvarez to help his development. I mean, how happy have you been with him since he's signed? Well, obviously, you must be delighted his goals return. What other assets do you think are his best qualities, and how good do you think he can become?
Well, in general, I'm pretty pleased with Joël. I'm not sure if he's really actually a player like Haaland, if I'm honest. So I would label him slightly different. But it's always good when you try to learn from the best players on his positions, at least. But you can't copy anyone. I think it's important that you stay authentic and you use your strength. And overall, I have to say, it's always difficult. With all respect, also to to Swansea is also a really good club, and they had some good spells also over the recent years. No doubt about this, but it's a different club, Leeds United. So the size of the club, the expectations, the ambitions. Once we play games, it's for each and every other opponent more or less. They have 2 games of the season: the home game and the away game against Leeds United, and this comes along with a different responsibility also in the games, and also he has to adapt to a different setup. He was more or less the main man at Swansea, the superstar. Everyone has to play the ball into his feet. Here he plays together with some, also proper players with big values and also good CV. So it's a different topic. I spoke the other day about this. It's different if you score for a club where you are more or less the main man and the superstar, 20 goals, or you do this for a team who is in a different situation, also a different setup. For that, I have to say I'm pretty pleased with him, because his goal record, I think he's played 9 or 10 games with 5 goals, really good average. If he goes further on in this average, even better. Though, yes, would have preferred that he would have converted also his chances in the last 2 games. For example, in Norwich he was there with a golden chance, but overall I have to say we are pretty happy with to have him, not just because of his quality as a player, but also with his personality. He's a great teammate and a great guy. Yes, last 2 games perhaps he was not there at his best, but it's quite normal for offensive players. So sometimes you have also a bit quieter game, and we're quite confident that he will also produce something really good, also hopefully in the upcoming weeks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.